Hello YouTube. I want to perform hopefully a quick review of the final build of my MR200 by Xtreme Production. This is the carbon frame kit for the Blade 200QX. So here it is. This is what it looks like. I'll post a link to the actual build. The video is just way too long, so it's just going to be a link. Video turned out to be two separate pieces. One's like 45 minutes, the other one's like 10. Don't know why it took as long as it did, but either way, you'll see a link of the actual build from just adding all these different pieces. So first thing I want to point out is it was a semi-straightforward build. You'll notice that in this image here that it doesn't have the landing gear, and I'll talk about that in a minute. In the build, I did add the landing gear, but ultimately decided to take it off. So let me do this first. Let me take off the canopy so I could show you how I did some of the wiring. We'll talk about that first. So I just have one screw here. It normally calls for two under here, but I decided not to use them because it just pops right off. And the way that this lip is on the shell, it holds it on there without having to use screws right there. I don't know if you can see that, if it's focusing in properly, but I'm trying to focus in on the screw. Anyway, there's two holes right there, so it focused in. So there's one there and there's one there, and it requires, well, it asks for screws to go right here, which again just ended up deciding not to use. So right there and one on the other side. So here's the build, here's the wiring. What I did was wired through the carbon tubes and then up through the middle. There's a gap here, and then, you know, kind of pulled everything through, but I tried to make it as Santa as possible. I color coded everything, so you'll see here I have purple and red, and then here the green and the blue, just so I can match it up with the motors. I mean, it's not that hard to do, but you'll see that I have it there, the colors, and there. So try to get the wiring as nice as possible, and then, you know, kind of zip tied them up just to make sure that they, you know, didn't get a lot of movement if I was in here, you know, just doing stuff, because, you know, the more you move these wires, the more fragile and delicate they're, or they'll more apt to break at the solder points. Didn't feel like having to solder stuff back together. You'll notice a piece of red tape here. It's just, again, to keep everything kind of just together, so they don't have a ton of movement when I'm in here just doing stuff. So nothing major, just, you know, typical wiring. This is just the way I decided to wire it. Kind of clumped up through the front, ran them straight back. There's an image of the back. Sorry about the squeaking, I should pick that up. And then, you know, again, just kind of zip tied where I could. What I also did was I used some heat shrink tubing to protect some of these cables. So this is the power cable. It comes out of here, and then it goes down around, and it's all shrink tubed. That's the right word. And then I actually mounted the I think it's a JST with double-sided tape, a zip tie, and actually even some hot glue, just so I didn't have to move it. And what it does is it allows me just to, you know, one-handed plug it in and unplug, again also with one hand. So it's kind of a neat thing. I don't know, make it a little bit easier. I did also put heat shrink tubing around the motor wires. It's not focusing, there we go. Just to protect them. I mean, they're pretty exposed, and they're also semi-fragile. So I thought it would be a good idea to just heat shrink them too. Just a note on the heat shrink, if you do decide to do this, just make sure you bend them when you're heat shrinking if you can, because they want to. I had mine unplugged. Well, I'm not going to unplug it, but they were straight, and when I heated them, they were straight, and they tend to harden up that way. So when you had to bend them, it was, I don't know, it's just the tubing. I guess you don't have to. It's not a huge deal. What else? Let's see. So let's talk about the bottom. I decided to remove the landing gear. I kind of like this look of the battery sitting in this cavity. So there is a section. Otherwise, here, let me grab the landing gear real quick. I thought I had it. Oh, here they are. The landing gear sits like so. So there's a plate, a mounting plate for the battery, and then Velcro straps for the battery. There's 2 screws that hold it into the frame, and then 4 screws that hold it in the frame, and 4 more screws that hold it into the legs itself. The reason why, 2 reasons I think primarily. One is, honestly, I just like the look. These little legs here near the motors are fine. It lands pretty good, just like that. Just as long as it doesn't catch anything, but you know, that's just making sure you get a good solid flat landing rather than landing like this or like this. If you land it flat, you'll be good to go. The other reason I did take them off is because of these. They're what do you call it? They're extremely bendy. That's the word, which is a good and bad thing. So if you had a hard landing and you come in, I mean, they flex. They flex pretty good, which will take some cushion off of that hard landing. Hard landing with these legs, they might break. I've heard that they're kind of fragile and they break, but haven't had that, knock on wood. This, if you have a hard landing, I heard it might take in some of the, or absorb some of that impact. But what I was doing, and I don't know if it was, actually I know it was me, but the way I was landing it, it would do this weird thing, and it would bounce. It was kind of weird. I don't know. It wasn't bad. I never really crashed it, but one time it caught up on the tips and almost it wanted to tip over, but it was doing this weird bouncing thing, and I have a feeling it's because these things do have some sort of a springy, you know, kind of feel to them. I think they're cool. Who knows? I might put them back on one day, but for now, it is just this. I'm going to put this back on because you guys saw the wiring, so it's good to go. And I can kind of demonstrate, you know, just how this one screw holds everything together. So let me screw this back on real quick. Did you even get it? Oop. There we go. So let's try it now. Whoops, should support that a little bit. Okay, cool. So there it is. I also put some zip ties here. I don't know if you guys noticed them, but there's zip ties right here and right here. What that does is it keeps the front centered. I mean, it won't shift around too much, but I just figured, hey, what the heck, you know, they're zip ties, not a huge deal. I'm going to add them, and yeah, they keep everything straight. So again, through this hole here, you could put in a screw. You can do what you want. I'm just showing you what I did. You put the screw there, it goes through this lens, and then it goes into the arm. So let's see, what else is different about my build? Mostly the way I did the power plug. So the battery itself is they're just 2 straps that actually go through the body and then up and around the battery. So there's some slots here. I could probably put a thicker piece of Velcro. You can see it kind of moves around. It's not a huge deal. I don't think that battery's going anywhere. But that is it for the battery. What else? I don't know. It's just kind of cool looking from that angle. It just looks very low profile. Not that it flies like completely flat. It's more like that. But yeah. So that's my MR200 build. I'll post a link to the actual build itself. So me, putting on the boards, putting on the motors, I don't think I put on the props, but you'll see a couple things that I didn't have in the video, like the heat shrink tubing. I didn't put that on there just because this came after the fact. Again, the final build images there are a little bit different just because I made some changes since. So anyway, that's it. Looks like I need to screw that down a little bit more, but that's not a huge deal. That is my MR2 build. There's a link to another one out there. It's gosh, what's his name? I forget his name. I'll edit it. I'll do some editing and I'll actually put it in the video. But it's a guy, I watched his video like, maybe 15, 20 times. It was really cool. He's a great pilot. And it was his build that kind of got me inspired to do my own. So thanks for watching, everyone. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments. Otherwise, I hope you liked the video. And go out and fly. There it is. Woo. All right. Thanks again for watching. Bye.